Hello, guys. My name is David, and welcome to First Down Talk. We have a lot of things to discuss about today. We'll be talking about Dak Prescott's contract situation. Also be talking about Tom Brady, and we'll also be talking about what's presumably supposed to be the first round pick, the first pick overall next year in the NFL draft. That's going to be Trevor Lawrence. But let's get into the show, and let's start off with talking about Dak Prescott's contract situation. Now, Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, why has he not got his contract yet? Jerry Jones has paid a lot of the other Cowboys players, but not Dak Prescott. He even gave Andy Dalton $3 million for one season just to be the backup because he didn't want to go into the season and have, I don't even remember the backup quarterback's name. I know that's how bad he was. But to not have Dak Prescott signed yet, it just means one thing. The Dallas Cowboys are not really sold on Dak Prescott. Even though Dak Prescott was picked in the 4th round, he's been outperforming his pick because most 4th rounders don't even play that good when it comes to the quarterback. The last quarterback that got drafted later than Dak Prescott to play as well was Tom Brady, when Tom Brady got picked in the 6th round, and Tom Brady's won Super Bowls. Now, Dak each year has had a good season. He's had a good season ever since he came into the NFL. I think it's down to the coaching of why Dak Prescott hasn't gone to where he is. Now, when it comes to the coaching situation, that was Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett was always 8-8. And apparently in Peter King's NFL power rankings, the Dallas Cowboys are ninth. Ninth out of 32 teams. That is very, very impressive. I just don't understand how Jerry Jones is not sold on Dak Prescott. I'm actually sold on Dak Prescott. I'm not even a Cowboys fan. I'm sold on Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is a perfect fit for the Dallas Cowboys, but apparently Jerry Jones doesn't want to pay that money. And from what I'm hearing from a lot of sources, is that Dak Prescott wants too much money. And if Dak Prescott wants that type of money, Dak Prescott can leave the Dallas Cowboys because Jerry Jones is going to be a smart man. Jerry Jones does not have that much longer when it comes to running in the Cowboys and get a Super Bowl with the Cowboys. So he's going to be very, very smart with his money, and he's going to want to pay Dak Prescott the amount of money that he can in order to help this team win the Super Bowl before he has to retire, and his son, I think Stephen Jones, has to take over. So, yeah, if Dallas Cowboys do not want to pay Dak Prescott their money, they don't have to really pay Dak Prescott the money. They signed him on a franchise tag, I think, so he's going to be playing on, $35 million this year, which is more amount of money than he's ever gotten in the past 3 to 4 seasons that he's been playing for the Dallas Cowboys, so that'll be good for Dak Prescott's situation. Dak Prescott ends up taking them to the playoffs and possibly Super Bowl. Maybe at the end of the season, the Dallas Cowboys will actually pay Dak Prescott their money, but if he doesn't perform, the Dallas Cowboys can just move on from Dak Prescott and just move on in a different direction in terms of their new future quarterback, because Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, they got a decent amount of quarterbacks coming in next year, and I know Jerry Jones is probably going to like one or two of them. I think Trey Lance is probably going to quarterback that Jerry Jones could probably like. But speaking about quarterbacks that could go into the NFL draft next year, we're going to be talking about the top pick for the NFL next year, or what's presumed to be the top pick of the NFL next year. We're going to be moving on to Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback for Clemson. This man has been so impressive. And what I mean so impressive, his rookie season, he won the national championship. His second season, he almost won the national championship, but unfortunately he got beat by that LSU team that had one good season. I just might say, one good season, and Joe Burrow ended up going number 1 because of that one perfect season. Now, many people have said that's the best college football season from a quarterback, and I can't deny that. It is, but for Joe Burrow to go number 1 over Tua Tagovailoa, who performed 3 seasons, in each and every 3 seasons, Joe Burrow was a senior, and up until this final season, he was projected to be a 4th round, 5th round pick. And he has that one good season, and he goes first overall over Tua Tagovailoa, who, I might add, did not even play the second half of the season. But now we move on to next year in the 2021 draft. The top 2 quarterbacks that look to be the first 2 quarterbacks to go in the draft are going to be between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a very, very good quarterback for Ohio State. But does he have enough to beat Trevor Lawrence for that number 1 overall pick? He's going to have a Joe Burrow type of season in order to take away that from Trevor Lawrence. Because there are a lot of other quarterbacks that could become shock factors. There's my quarterback from Florida and Kyle Trask. There's a quarterback from Alabama. I can't even remember his name. I think Tua's brother's actually there, so maybe Tua's brother could be the number 1 pick. I think Tua's brother's actually a freshman, though, so he's going to have to wait another year before going to the draft. But I know there's going to be a quarterback in Alabama that's going to be a contender there. You got a quarterback from Oklahoma that's going to be a contender, even though Jalen Hurts wasn't really a contender this past year because Joe Burrow just had an amazing season, and it just doesn't seem like Trevor Lawrence is going to be beat up for this number 1 pick. Like I said, Justin Fields, he's an amazing quarterback. He's a very, very good quarterback. He's going to be the second quarterback right now, so far, that's going to be going in the NFL draft. Now, I've done some mock drafts for 2021 NFL draft, and I've selected them going to a certain NFC South team, that kind of needs a quarterback, but not really, because their quarterback currently right now performs for them. They may not need him, and that is the Carolina Panthers. I have projected him to go to Carolina Panthers. I don't think Terry Bridgewater, he's going to do good for the Carolina Panthers, but I feel like they're going to want another quarterback for the future, and they're going to go get Justin Fields. Now, when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, back to Trevor Lawrence real quick, the team that seems to be the most likely to get him right now is a team that's going to be absolute butt in the NFL. It's going to be the butt team, basically, of the NFL, and that's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have traded away every good player they have for draft picks, and right now it seems like they are going to be projected to get 2 or 3 wins in the NFL season, which means most likely they will have the number 1 pick, and that number 1 pick, I do believe, will be Trevor Lawrence. Unless somebody just comes out and has a Joe Burrow type of season, Trevor Lawrence is going to be that number 1 pick. I think Trevor Lawrence will be back in the national championship game, but this time I don't think it will be against LSU. I think it will be against Alabama, and we're going to see if Trevor Lawrence can win 2 out of 3 national championships when he's been at Clemson. I mean, look at the last good quarterback that was at Clemson. That was Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson went to the Houston Texans, and that Houston Texans team right now is... It just doesn't look good for Deshaun Watson. I feel like Deshaun Watson will end up leaving the Houston Texans in a year or 2. I don't think he's gonna want to play for the team, especially if they don't fix the front office with Bill O'Brien. So yeah, Trevor Lawrence will definitely be going to the Jacksonville Jaguars as the number 1 pick, unless somebody has a Joe Burrow type of season where they go freaking off and have the best college football season from a quarterback. There's no way a guy that's going to beat Trevor Lawrence to that number 1 pick unless they have that type of season. But talking about college picks, let's go on to a person I mentioned earlier, and we're going to go back into the NFL. We're going to be talking about Mr. Tom Brady, the quarterback for the Tampa Bay, or how Skip Bayless likes to pronounce the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I just want to say straight away, when it comes to my opinion about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I was about to say Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, I'm a Tampa Bay fan, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, so I may seem biased here, but I'm going to try not to be biased. This team is overhyped. It is overhyped. Because a lot of people are going to NFL seasons saying, oh, Tampa Bay is going to be in the playoffs. Skip Bayless is predicting Tampa Bay to go to the Super Bowl. Does he realize how many good NFC teams are going to be there this year? The NFC South division is going to be a lot tougher this year because Carolina has improved, Tampa Bay has certainly improved, Atlanta's kind of improved, and New Orleans has always stayed the same. And they fixed the offensive line for Drew Brees. They added another wide receiver. They still have Michael Thomas. Atlanta still has Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. Carolina Panthers still has Christian McCaffrey, who was probably the best running back last season. So that NFC South division is not going to be an easy one to go through. And if I were to do a Tampa Bay Buccaneers season predictions, I would probably not have them as much wins as they do because nobody can predict what's going to happen in the season. Because there could be a lot of things that happen. Look at the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, through their first 7 games, win 1-7. Do you think anybody saw the Atlanta Falcons going 1-7 this past season? With Keanu O'Neal going down the injury, 2 of our offensive guard and offensive tackle got injured, and they were basically every season Devontae Freeman having injury problems. That could happen to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. knock on wood, that doesn't happen to A&M, but that can still possibly happen. We don't know if injuries could happen, or we don't know what could happen in the NFL season, so when it comes to the predictions of everybody saying that Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady are going to be going to the playoffs, they're going to be NFL Super Bowl, one thing I want to say straight away, Tampa Bay is not going to the Super Bowl because there's going to be too many good teams in the NFC, and I think there are a lot of teams right now that are better than Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that NFC. Green Bay, even though they didn't have a wide receiver, I think they're pretty good. New Orleans Saints, obviously, you got the Super Bowl matchup from last year with the San Francisco 49ers. Seattle's going to be up there. You got of course the other team. You got Minnesota that could possibly be upsetting there. And I'm not really sure about anything else. You got, of course, Philadelphia, who were in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. You got the Dallas Cowboys, who could be a shot factor in there. And yeah, there's a lot of teams in the NFC that's going to be a very good contender. So when it comes to Tampa Bay and Tom Brady will probably have a very good season. Now, when it comes to him against Bill Belichick and who's going to end up having the better season, it's going to be a really, really close one because I really just don't think that Tom Brady is going to be as good as people say he is this season. So I think he'll probably have a better season than Bill Belichick, just because unless Bill Belichick gets Cam Newton. If Bill Belichick goes out and signs Cam Newton, then that could be a whole different story because Bill Belichick is very, very good when it comes to molding quarterbacks, and if he gets somebody like Cam Newton, Cam Newton's 30, 31, it's gonna be really, really close. That Patriots team will probably finish second in that AFC East, and the Bills will probably win that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if anything, they'll probably finish second in the NFC South. The Saints will win it. The Falcons will finish third. The Carolina Panthers will finish fourth. And yeah, so that's really how I feel about Tom Brady. I don't really think this team is being overhyped a lot, and I just don't really think that he's going to be going to the Super Bowl like everybody's predicting, especially Skip Bayless. That's just overhyping them. And I've seen some people talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers overhyped. They are 100% overhyped, and they're not as good as everybody says they are, because I'd say the biggest problem for them when it comes to offensive side is going to be their running game, because I don't really consider them to have a good running back. But yeah, I don't really think Tom Brady's going to lead this Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though they are really, really impressive. They have some guys on the defense. I really don't think he's going to lead them to the Super Bowl. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning into the show. We'll be doing this a lot more often when there's NFL news coming, and I'll be having 2 more shows like this coming out in the next few days. So make sure to subscribe, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys all later. Peace.